Show me your goodies. Yeah. Okay. Good, Justin. You can play that one too. I like it. RGEN. Good, Justin. You can play that one too. Okay, so you got a good list here. This one, Justin, I would probably... It's going to be a little bit tricky, but I think you could still play it just because you've got 2 levels of breakout there, and it was up 15%. Healthcare stocks in general move a little bit funky, but I think you can play it. Yeah, I think you can play that. Guten Tag, good morning, Mr. Harper, Ryan Jones, Mr. Ramos, Michelle, Robin, how you doing? It's Friday, it's showtime. You know what I'm talking about, right? Hey, Hunter, what's up, baby? All right, today's going to be a tricky day in the markets. Apple earnings have the market kind of gapping down a little bit. There's going to be 2 different plays that you have to do today to be aware of that makes things a little bit tricky. Apple's gapping down 6%. It could take down some of the market with it. If the market digests this early morning fade and it holds, that's going to be really, really bullish because Apple's a big chunk of the markets, right? So how we got to play this is first we look for the opening fade at the open. If we rebound back, then we've shaken off the earnings, the bull is on, and then we've got to go aggressively to the long side. So we'll have to really, really watch the reaction at the open. You know, you've got kind of 2 different aspects of things that you have to do. The other part is you're up 3 days in a row, right into the 200-day moving average, right into the 20-day moving average. That becomes really, really tricky, right? So, you know, we're also at resistance, which makes it kind of a spade spot. You know, the SPY, same thing. You gapped right into this 200 SMA right in the morning. You're starting to fade back. The key is going to be how do we digest the Apple earnings, right? The Apple earnings, it's down 6.6% so far. It's going to take it down over here. This is probably something you guys could even trade in the morning if you're so inclined to trade a thick stock like that. I'm not shorting it or long it, man. Apple just sucks to trade. The float on this is so thick, man. It's thick. Man, it's thick like Danny Jack's girlfriend, man. Woo, it's a big one, right? We can't even trade this thing. Man, the float on this, I'm just kidding, Danny. I love you. So we want to leave this bad boy alone. But there's tons of stocks out there that we can trade today, so it doesn't even matter. BTU. I got this on watch for a bear flag in case we need a short, right? This thing has a nice trend down. Really been tapping this 34 level consistently for the last week. If it breaks below, we can take this thing down. I got this NEO on watch for a potential short. You can start to see it's kind of rounding at this 9. You know, I think this thing probably comes back to the 9 EMA over the next couple days. I'm watching this thing, watching how it reacts with this 19. If it can't break over that today, probably this thing, watch for relative strength weakness. It might fade into the end of day. Hot damn. Hold on. Let me get my Friday hat. You gotta have a Friday hat, right? It's summertime still. All right, let's talk about a little bit of some of these gappers here. Let me take some of this junk off from yesterday real quick. Hey, this NIHD is pretty hot here. It's starting to really cook pre-market. You already see $1 range on this all day. You watching this thing or what? Good. Right, so let's see if this thing holds out of this one. I like this one. Billy's got a nice range break. It's been building a range since July. If you could check out the range on this right at the 15 spot. It's starting to peak out over it, but pre-market it's fading back. If it breaks and holds over 15, then what we want to start doing is watching it for patterns. Only if it holds over 15, then you want to look for a thrust and an ORB or a thrust and a tap back to the 9 EMA, but some type of hold. What's up, Andrew? What's going on in the hood? I'm not saying you live in the hood, but that's just a colloquial term. This PDD is kind of gapping up, but like if this thing needs to get over 2166 for us to look at any trades. You can't ignore the volume on this thing yesterday, right? It was 2 times its normal. High relative volume is a sign of good things, right? That there was actually buyers interested in this thing. But you cannot take any trades on it now because it's so close to resistance. It needs to thrust out over this thing before you can take a trade in this. But I'm watching this one for an ORB. Also, you can see yesterday, this one actually ORBs really well. You know, this one, boom, boom, boom. See how this thing came from 1725? This is the type of pattern you want at the open, right? You get this push, pull back to the 9. See how you get the tap back to 9, green candle to hold? That's when you want to shred these things. That's a tradable type of pattern, right? That's the type of stuff you want to see at the open. Something clean, crisp, and tight like that, right? Thrust, pull back, and go, right? So those are the type of patterns you always want to look for. If they're not clean like that, then usually what happens is you get a poo-poo platter of trades, right? You guys probably had one of those in the last couple days. Not fun. So that's what we're looking for, right? An ORB or quick pullback buy. Remember, at the open, the key is to have clean, crisp, tight trades. You only have 3 options at the open you can do, right? If you're not taking any of them, it's a no buenos. That's Spanish for no good. Right? See how this NIO, this is a Chinese stock too. Chinese stock's been hot the last couple days. Now, some of them have been running for 3-4 days, but NIO, QTT, and PDD yesterday was the first day of the bounce on those. And so I think these guys have probably the most room to run. You got a trend line break over here coming on this NIO. If it can kind of bust out of these levels, I think it's got a real chance to go. 24 million shares of volume yesterday. It's definitely got the heat. Yeah, even wind was cooking. Everything was cooking yesterday. I mean, shit. Anybody play Labu yesterday? Man, this thing ran from $50 to, right, $60 unencumbered. Unencumbered, right? It was like there's just no resistance even existed. So I put this NIO on the list, on the gap down list. There's a lot more gap down plays today than I noticed gap up plays. PBYI, this thing's gapping down on earnings. Watch this thing. It's got a $23. It's got a range of 23 pre-market. We'll see if this thing kind of cooks back under. It's already been in a downtrend, but you can see on a longer term basis. Go to the weekly chart. If it breaks under the support here, I'm definitely looking at this for an ORB or something like that. A lot of these stocks have been getting cooked right at the first 5-10 minutes at the open. So you may have to even go to a smaller term time frame to catch the ORB, but that's okay. OLED, this thing's getting smoked out on earnings. It had a nice few days, popped $30, now completely rolled back over. If it stays under this $100 level's the key on this thing. If it can stay under the $100 level, we can start watching this thing for some patterns and get this thing going. Ooh, Carrie, hold on. Let me look at your stuff. AMRN, I'm cool with you playing this. This one looks good, baby. SFLI, I'm not sure. FSLI, it is popping here, but right, the daily stinks. So I don't want to long this one. You know, I'm almost looking at this more for a short. I think you're right on I. So Carrie's mentioning like this might be like a little bit of a short later if it breaks back under 25. It's got to break under this 25 for you to short. If it remounts the 50 SMA, then I think you've got to take this thing long. So actually you might just, it's a tweener, right? XS did have a nice trend yesterday, Care Bear. You could keep this one on your list too. CN. Remember you had CN on your watch list about a couple months ago? It trades like crap. So, like, you do have a breakout there, but it trades slow, right? It's just a thick stock. Cassie, yeah, I see this. You could probably play this, but it doesn't have any volume on this bad boy, right? You're going to need a little bit more heat. I think your Yeko and AMRN are going to be hotter. Da-da. Newell. Yeah, Newell's alright. You know, it's kind of a tweener because it's been in a downtrend, so not my particular cup of tea. I think my favorite out of this group is WTW. What do you think, Big Brad? Right, this is a longer term head and shoulders pattern. If it can stay under this trend line here, which is at 60, I think this is the one that, we're going to have probably the most fun with because it's going to have the best range on it too. I'm pumped on this one. This one I think is going to be the best one out of the group. MDRX is getting smoked on earnings too. You're breaking below this trend line here. This one's got actually probably a little bit of room to fall. If it could stay under this 10, see longer term, if you go on its weekly chart, this 10 spot is like a monster number, right? So if it can stay under that 10 and build any patterns under there, I think you've got a chance on this one. CC, yo CC. All right, under 31.30, I think you could take this one short too. This one has got 176 million share float, so you can do an ORB or quick pullback buy. I will tell you guys, right? It seems like you're getting one quick spike at the open, and then they're squeezing, and then you got to kind of let them round, and then you re-short it, right? Don't hammer these things at the lows if the SSR is on it. If the SSR is on it, which means that the stock is down more than 10% pre-market, if the SSR is on it and you start hammering it at lows and it starts to grind, watch the bid. If the bid starts to hold, and you start to grind on it, meaning like you start to see the shorts pile up on the ask, you start to see big numbers piling up on the ask, usually it might pop on the SSR. So just something to kind of keep mind of when you're seeing some of these bad boys. Tex-Mex, this one looks okay too. The question is going to be liquidity on this. It's not really trading much right now, only 6,000 shares. So this is like a B- for me. And then Shake Shack, actually, this one's going to move really well. It always moves well on these earnings. You got like this big gap that's filling here, and anything under 50, I think this thing's going to start getting smoked out. So I got this one on watch, but it's got to break under this trend line to get this thing going. Let's start ranking these bad boys, and let's gonna clean this list up here. All right, so my fave is WTW, second fave is OLED. Hey guys, on that OLED, one thing you want to be careful of is like, that there might be a spread on that little sucker, and if there is, then be real tight on it. Just be careful on it. The Chinese stocks are probably my second fave, so I'd go in with some. Man, I got a big list today, huh? I probably have to clean this bad boy up as the market goes on. What was I saying? Billy. So put these Chinese stocks like number 2. PDD, Billy. PDD's got better range than Billy. Nio's got the worst range, and it trades like really thick. So I would put that like a little bit lower than Billy. These are going to be your top ones. All right, these are going to be your top ones. Oh yeah, I think these are going to be your top ones. The PDD's got the best range. It just happens it's got a break, and then also this Billy trades okay. Yesterday, had a pretty nice range on it. I think it's going to be A-okay. OLED. OLED's going to be good too as long as the liquidity's there. Yeah, you could probably add VVPR on it. This thing's spiking up. But these little turds have been kind of spiking into resistance and fading. Not my particular cup of tea sometimes. All right, keep all those little China stocks on your watch list. WTW, OLED, Billy, PD. Oh, we got PDD. Good. Right, always narrow down so that you got a big list, right? How do you narrow them down to your favorites? Start thinking about the type of trades that you particularly trade well. That's going to be just the hugest spot. Like, what do you trade well, right? And that's going to give you a good idea of like where to go with this stuff. Always. And it's Friday, man. It's showtime. If you can't hit your goals on a Friday, what good are you? Da-da. Let's do this. Let's go out and do what we got to do. Brad, what's your fave today, baby? Give me your cookies. Oh yeah, Shaq. Alright, I gotta clean up my list of all this junk that I'm probably not gonna trade. Big part of the, when you're trading stuff, like start whipping out like the stuff that you know you're not gonna trade. That's gonna make it like a lot easier. Like when you get earnings season like this, man, like it's just so easy to start. Make it so easy to just start adding stocks to your watch list, like over and over and over. I'm like so guilty of that, right? Like you're just starting to you just start collecting these bad boys. You got to make sure that you really, really prune these things. Otherwise, you're shit out of luck sometimes. What I'm going to do is kind of couple these Chinese stocks all together. That way I don't lose track of them, right? So who you add that to? You can see you're starting to get a little bit of weakness in the market right here. All right, it's showtime. Let's go make some money. Every day, the first 15 minutes of the market has been where we make our money. So let's go do what we do.